Tonight on Joy News Prime, gunshots fired as traders at Bolgatanga market clashed with police over attempts to relocate them. At least 27 of them were arrested. We'll be speaking with the police for the very latest. Supreme Court Justice nominee Justice Clemens Onyenuga apologizes for comments perceived to be an endorsement of President Akufo-Addo for a second term bid earlier this year.
The President of the Republic has visited our district, and you are asked to be the lead. Then you read a statement on their behalf.
Electoral Commission dismisses claim by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu that it received personal protective equipment from the government. The Minority Leader is standing by his claim.
What I do know about the Electoral Commission is that they've come to Parliament with two defective instruments. They're just not competent enough, and they must deal with their incompetence and not seek to impugn or attack my integrity.
And in business,
local businesses continue to lose significant profits as Ghana's borders remain closed.
We do 40 tons on a daily basis before COVID. As we stand now, we are doing less than 15 tons a day.
And a day after the president recommended Kontomire and Dawadawa menu as immune boosters, grocery traders at Kumasi have their hopes high this will result in a sales boom.
I'm ready. 2 cities, 5 cities. Nana can't hear cry at this so yeah, that's my problem.
I said, I'm Penina Canada, a Janabako, no one young kind of cry a topper. No one had another 2 media. Me did say, a Janabak come up, my.
I'm Israel Lion. Remember, Joy News Prime is live on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air.
My name is Aisha Ibrahim, coming to you live from our studios on digital address GA0992539, also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144.
At least 27 market women at Bolgatanga in the Upper East region were arrested and granted bail Monday after traders disregarded social distancing protocols and embarked on a demonstration. The women were protesting a decision by the Bolgatanga Municipal Assembly to move some of them from the current trading spots in the market to another place as part of efforts to decongest the market to help curb the spread of coronavirus. Bolgatanga Municipal Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Richard Anaba says the women are being arraigned. We'll speak with him shortly, but let's first bring you some scenes from the demonstration and hear from the market women.
This is all about. This is trying to destroy Bolga. The Bolga market is too small. It's not like the other market. It's not like Masi market, Accra market. So we don't understand. We want to hear from the DC from now onwards.
So what is happening now?
What is happening now is they lock some of our people all in the name of, we are demonstrating for him to come and open the market for us. Some are pregnant women. One shot is happening in the police station. And then the tear gas. The tear gas is happening in the police station. They are beating all the market women around. So where's the old women and then the young women all. So we want this to come and release our people for us. Almost a young boy. Yes, we are it's yet to be demonstration. It's a baby
Right, the Bolgatanga Municipal Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Richard Anaba has joined us on phone. We'll speak with him in a bit, but I would want us to speak with our correspondent, Albert Sori, who's joined us via Zoom. Albert, what can you tell us about the situation right now in Bolgatanga? All right, Albert, if you can hear me, I want to know what the situation is right now in Bolgatanga as far as these clashes are concerned. Right, we're having some issues with the connection to Albert. We'll try and re-establish that connection and make sure everything is clear. But Bolgatanga Municipal Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Richard Anaba is on the line with us. Thank you very much, Chief. Now, what's the current situation as we speak?
Okay, as of now, we process them for court after the arrest. And when you were playing this in the tape, I could hear the firing at the background. The firing was just to disperse them because they were not prepared to leave the place, and they were present the police station with stones, and they were increasing in numbers. So I ordered that they should fire tear gas and then rubber bullets so that we could scare them and they would leave the place. But as of now, we took them to court and they were granted court bail by the circuit court. I think each was given 5,000 cedi bail, and then they didn't take their plea, and then the case was adjourned to 25th of this month for the hearing to take place. But order has been restored. And
what's a provisional charge?
Excuse me.
What's the provisional charge against these women?
The restricting order. This is a new, what was passed by the president recently, and so accented by the president recently. Sorry, I didn't bring the sections around, so I haven't memorized it. You know, it's a new section, so I haven't memorized it. So I can't read, but I think you have a copy. So I'm sorry. I don't want to quote and then misquote.
So how many of them are we talking? How many of them are we talking about here? We knew there were 27, all 27 were arraigned?
27, yeah, 27. But these all been granted.
Do we know if there were any injuries at all with the firing of the rubber bullets, as you say?
There was no injury. We were firing to the air just to scare them. We didn't, it was not live bullets. We were not firing to the crowd. We were firing to the air just to disperse them.
All right, what do you anticipate will be the situation tomorrow? Do you intend to send your men there to still insist that they relocate?
It's not a market day. The market day is every 3 days. So today being Monday, then it means that the next market day will be on Wednesday. Or will be on Thursday. So it is the next market day that probably we will organize ourselves and get ready. But we'll be ready tomorrow. If they want to attack us, we'll face them anyway.
How are you engaging with their leaders to ensure we avoid chaotic scenes like these?
Oh, I'm really sad that they took this thing, because I'm part of the Municipal Security Council, and we held a meeting. We invited them, most of them to turn up. And what they were saying, it's just a lie that the old market is not spacious enough to accommodate it. That is a big lie. If you want, you can ask Albert, sorry, to go and video whatever is there. The ground has been prepared for them to just go back, and then so that the social distancing that we are talking about can be kept, and they are refusing to comply. And from the new market to the old place, it is not far.
All right.
Yeah, and that place is spacious enough to take all. Not that all the traders. This is particularly with the cereals, those who are selling beans and millet, sorghum, and the rest. Not everybody. So I'm really surprised.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Chief Superintendent Richard Anaba. He's a Bolgatanga Municipal Police Commander. But we still have Albert Sorry on the line. Albert, what more can you add to all that the Bolgatanga Police Commander has said?
Right, Israel. So when you listen to the women in all the interviews that we had with them, you get the sense that it is not just about the space they have been given, but they have several other concerns as well. And one of the concerns is that some of them were asked to lock up their shops, and they will do a sort of rotation system where once in a while, on some market days, they can open, and then some other market days, some other group of women can also open their shops. And they claim now that since some of them locked up their shops, they haven't been given the opportunity to open. Now, some of them also say that they think that the municipal chief executive is doing something fishy in terms of preventing them from opening their shops so that he can reallocate their shops to some other traders. At this moment, all these are only allegations they have made. We are waiting for the municipal chief executive to respond to these allegations. So it's a number of things that these women have. And earlier when we spoke to them, one of their leaders actually told us that when they set out today, they were not going out to demonstrate. What they wanted to do was to go to the municipal chief executive and present the concerns that they have. In fact, she said that they only selected 20 women who were marching to the office of the municipal chief executive to present their concerns and not a demonstration. The challenge is that by the time we arrived, the chaos had already started, the arrests were being made, and so we didn't get the chance to see when the demonstration started and how many women were actually involved in the demonstration.
All right, thank you very much, Albert. Sorry, and do monitor the situation for us as and when any new development, I'm sure you'll share that with us. Moving on, Supreme Court Justice nominee Justice Clemens Honey-Nuga has apologized for comments he made earlier this year, perceived to be an endorsement of President Akufo-Addo's second-term bid. Justice Honey-Nuga, who is also the paramount chief of the Nyagbo traditional area in the Volta region, said at the Durbar in honor of President Akufo-Addo in February, quote, "It is our hope that with your vision and gains made in your first term, Ghanaians may consider giving you another 4 years," unquote. The appeals court judge told the appointments committee he only spoke on behalf of his people.
Oh yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a group, chiefs, a group of chiefs, paramount chiefs. And I mean, whether you agree or not, this is a very special occasion. You see, the president of the Republic has visited our district, and you are asked to be the lead. And you read a statement on their behalf. So whether you agree with it or not, there's nothing you can do about it in your capacity as a chief. As a chief. Yes, you will continue. This is more or less a convention. The president visits your area, and you want to attract development. You want to attract. You want to also get. I mean, this is. It's done everywhere. And I do not understand this. I do not understand this situation that you are talking. So much has been said about this for the past 3 months. As a matter of fact, in reading that statement, I did not intend that we were endorsing the president.
Earlier, the minority accused chairman of the appointments committee, Jose Owusu, of bias after he disallowed a question on the issue from Northern MP Samuel Kudjeto Ablakwa. Minority MP stepped out of the vetting for about 5 minutes to consult on the issue. Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak criticized the chairman of the committee over the issue.
He was virtually truncating the thing, and he's doing so biasly, and I think everybody watching TV can see it. This is a super legitimate question. Everywhere in the world, we were members of parliament. People send you questions to ask people, but you look at the question, and you think that this question infringes on our rules. You don't ask it, because if you do, the responsibility rests on you. And you'll be personally held responsible for it. You can't now come and say that, I can't now say, oh, it was my child who asked me to do this. You'll be looking stupid before everybody. And this is a judge of an appeals court who's been there for over 12 years, who's going to the Supreme Court. I think that even based on that alone, his sense of judgment should need to be questioned.
So
our decisions will continue to go. We'll continue to press other things, but obviously, this matter will not go. So we think that what the chairman did was very biased. I mean, it is very unethical. Very, very unethical for the chairman to do that.
In the conclusion of the committee.
I can assure you that if the chairman does not withdraw this, it will definitely do.
So you bring back the question. Other members will bring back the question.
You can be rest assured, we'll bring back the question.
But Chairman of the committee, Joseph Owusu, justified his decision.
Accusations are accusations, aren't they? They can make any accusations. They have been found to make accusations that are baseless, often, many. So they can make many accusations, but nobody can take away from me the right to preside, and to decide which questions are admissible or not admissible.
And for you, that will not affect the fairness of the process and maybe a unitary position in terms of whatever.
What is wrong with taking a unitary position? We sit here as a committee. We take decisions by consensus or by majority. If people take a decision of what they will do before they come to the chamber, that is their position. They're entitled to that. But they are not entitled to dictate to the rest of us. That has been the practice, and that is the part which often gets to me. We are in the minority, but what we want should prevail.
The Chief Justice Onenga has a mind of his own. He could have responded to the question without even pulling the brakes. Again, that's the.
So, what is the role of a chairman? Doesn't the chairman have the right to decide which questions are admissible?
We're taking a break here on Joy News Prime, but still ahead in the bulletin. A day after the president recommended Kuntumre and Dawadawa menu as immune boosters, grocery traders in Kumasi have their hopes high. This will result in a sales boom.
No one kind of cry a papa. No one had another 2 media. Me did say, dear, Johnny Bear come up.
Stay tuned in. We'll be back in a bit.
Welcome back to the rest of our stories. And the Electoral Commission has described as untrue claims by the minority leader Haruna Iddrisu that the Commission has taken delivery of personal protective equipment from the government. At a news conference last week, Mr. Iddrisu said the Commission had been given PPEs when healthcare workers did not have enough. In a statement issued by the EC's Director of Public Affairs, Sylvia Ano, the Commission accused the minority leader of failing to authenticate the claims. The statement reads, the Electoral Commission has noted with grave concern comments made by the minority leader Honorable Haruna Iddrisu during a press conference held on 7th May. And it goes on to say Haruna Iddrisu is reported to have registered the displeasure of the National Democratic Congress on the management of COVID-19 pandemic by government. The Commission has not stated anywhere that it has received personal protective equipment from government, as stated by the minority leader during the press conference. For the avoidance of doubts, the Commission has not received any protective equipment from the government. The Commission finds it troubling that the leader of the minority party in Parliament will put out information of this nature without substantiating its authenticity. The EC would like to state that since the outbreak of COVID-19, it has taken concrete steps to adhere to the rules and regulations regarding the protocols spelled out by the Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health, and therefore has not violated any safety protocols in the discharge of its duties. But Haruna Iddrisu says he stands by his claim. He spoke to parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo.
And that I, Haruna Iddrisu, am misleading the public and not Dr. Siribua of the Electoral Commission, as was reported by the Daily Graphic and reported by Joy FM on Newsfile that I heard him that the Electoral Commission have received sufficient PPEs, personal protection equipment, from government. In any case, I was discussing PPEs relative to the National Identification Authority and the Electoral Commission in the context that don't just think about your staff, think about health, safety, and lives of citizens who would be queuing for the purpose of getting registered. What I do know about the Electoral Commission is that they've come to Parliament with two defective instruments. They're just not competent enough, and they must deal with their incompetence and not seek to impugn or attack my integrity that I have taken a long period to build over. I just don't comment on matters, and I just don't comment on issues. I am quoting, and I quoted today, Dr. Sribua Kweku of the Electoral Commission. So if I got it wrong, I was misled by the Electoral Commission and misled by Dr.
That's the point you're making, that as minority leader, you shouldn't be misinforming the public. I
didn't know that when Dr. Sribua and Kwaku speaks, he should be ignored. So let the public ignore him. But I stand by the fact that he shared. And I stand by the fact that if you want to undertake a registration exercise, our position on the matter is no, we are not supportive of it. We will not support it. It's only in Ghana that 7-8 months into an election, you don't even know the electoral roll you are going to use. It's only in Ghana that you are still struggling to amend laws or to provide new laws for purpose of a 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections.
We're still live on Joy News Prime. There is more in business after this break. Time now for business, and Sandra Apeno is here with the very latest. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Aisha.
Birthday girl.
I know, right? So give me the lighter in entertainment news, because that's my favorite song. But a lot of local businesses are struggling. Of course, you know the reason, COVID-19. And so we'll look at one of such companies. That's Blue Skies.
Take it away.
All right. So celebrating 25 years of business. My name is Sandra Esinam Apeno, and I'm here for business. We'll bring you that Blue Sky story. But first, the total amount of foreign currencies deposited with banks has witnessed some significant increase over the past 1 year. Latest Bank of Ghana data suggests it went out by more than 17% to hit $4.3 billion. There's more in the following Business Desk report.
These are deposits with banks made up of the various foreign currencies like the British pound, euros and other currencies. However, for the purpose of this analysis, we want to convert all these funds into dollars, which should be about 4.3 billion. According to the report, this represents about half of the total banking deposits of 83 billion cedis ending February this year. The report also shows there have been some consistent increase in foreign currencies being kept at the commercial banks over the past 4 years, based on data from the Bank of Ghana. These are deposits from individuals, groups and institutions that have foreign currency accounts with all the banks in the country. It is still not clear what might have caused the increase. However, some industry watchers would want to link it to the cedi's depreciation as a result of people changing their cedi accounts to foreign currency accounts. For others, the development is worrying, especially when significant portions of the deposits are coming from persons that are changing from cedis into these foreign currencies. It is believed that some of these actions often contribute to the cedi's depreciation. Others have also maintained that the Bank of Ghana deploys some instruments to discourage the practice of holding foreign currency accounts for those that do not actively engage dollar transactions as a business.
To our headline story now, export numbers has dipped more than 50% for food processing company Blue Skies following delays in transportation due to the coronavirus. The company says this development is detrimental to its production as 98% of its market is international.
Supply chains for the food and agricultural industry have been heavily impacted by COVID-19 as border restrictions still remain in many countries. This has also led to an increase in demand for essential product groups, including food, as consumers rush to stock up. However, transport delays and cancellations are affecting the ability of companies to export stock effectively. Blue Skies Ghana is one of such companies to be affected as it is unable to meet demand internationally due to inconsistent air travel arrangements. Reginald Ashite is the head of logistics at Blue Skies Ghana.
We do 40 tons on a daily basis before COVID. As we stand now, we are doing less than 15 tons a day because of COVID. Why this impact? We were depending on dedicated flights to Europe. The British Airways, the KLM, the Emirates, the Brussels Air, and then Ethiopian Airlines. But as it is now, they are not landing at Kotoka anymore. Therefore, we are not able to send our produce to Europe and then the UK. That is how hard we've been hit by COVID.
Aside the dip in exports, the company now has to bear additional costs in transporting their wares.
There are chartered flights and then freighters in the system. We have to quickly rely on freighters. And freighters are not dedicated like the normal carriers. So what happened is that if the consignment has to get to the UK at 10 a.m. or Amsterdam at 6 a.m., we have to route it via Brussels. There, from Brussels, we have to track. Now we fly to Brussels, and then we have to incur another tracking cost from Brussels to, let's say, Amsterdam to the UK and the likes. So we have another tracking cost that we have to contend with. There is handling aspect too. When it gets to Brussels, you need to hire a handling agent or firm to really take care of your produce when it gets to Brussels. And these are costs that are unplanned.
Reginald Ashite also assured that the company is doing its best to cut cost of production so as to secure the jobs of its staff. For Joy Business, Karen Dodu.
The European Union has blacklisted Ghana and 3 other African countries over money laundering details, plus more in the Business News Summary.
The Ministry of Finance has described as false and misleading the reports by FactCheckGhana.com of the Media Foundation for West Africa, suggesting that government has shared different macroeconomic data with Ghanaians and the International Monetary Fund. FactCheckGhana.com has said it's cross-checked the data submitted to the IMF by Ghanaian authorities and what had been previously shared with Ghanaians and published by the Ministry of Finance. The reports further discovered disparities between the data published in the statement of the IMF and data from the budget statement of 2019 and 2020. Freight forwarders in the Western Regional Capital, Takoradi, have expressed their displeasure about the lingering challenges with the new integrated customs management system at the Takoradi port. The freighters last week picketed at the Customs Office of the Ghana Revenue Authority in Takoradi to call for the immediate suspension of Unipass system until the operators are able to fix the problem with the new system.
And that will be all for the first part of business. I'm surely back after 8 p.m. with more. Do stay tuned.
Now, if you have to be able to beat COVID-19, you need to have a strong immune system. So what are you eating? Here's the President's advice on what food to eat and the need for exercises at this time.
Dawadawa de matobida.
Bacho dawadawa de minim na mipacho mintobida.
You need bida.
Bacho dabi.
Minyini na mihu se dawadawa no so se ye pa nti enoa me yire eno no de yankwan eno no de bibia nti dawadawa de good pa.
We have to improve our hygiene, our fitness and exercises, our eating, generally our style of living, which will boost our immunity to disease and the virus. For instance, we're told that the key vitamins that fortify our immune system are vitamins A, B6, C, and E. Fortunately for us in Ghana, all of these can be found in many of our foods, such as oranges, kontomire, millet, cashew nuts, crabs, plantain, okra, dawadawa, brown rice, and mushrooms.
Now, some grocery traders in Kumasi say patronage of the presidentially recommended foods have been largely low, but they're hopeful they would experience a boom shortly. Nana Sensu-Mensah interacted with the traders and came through with this report.
So the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has encouraged the eating of local foods like mushroom, crabs, kontomire, dawadawa to boost our immune system. Today we are here at one of the biggest open-air markets in Kumasi, that is Racecourse Market, to find out if these products are readily available on the market and even if their prices are suitable for the average Ghanaian to patronize them.
1 million green, 2 cities, 5 cities. Nana can't hear cry at this so yeah, that's my pa. Just a udia. A quantum of the free thing. I want Adrian. Udia Wina Moja. Nana so the abato so. 80 Beato. yɛbɛso yɛbɛtɔ ne ama nkurɔfoɔ a sɛ wɔn nso bɛtɔ a yɛn ho nkyerɛ yɛn ne dwa no akɔ so
na mokɔ munya bitɔ yɛse ɛwɔ mmerɛ a ɛde ba enti mokɔ munya bitɔ
yɛsɛ deɛ yɛnya bitɔ so tɔberɛ deɛ yɛnya bitɔ kyerɛ pɛsi a ɛne yɛnya bi yɛsɛ deɛ yɛbaa yɛnya bitɔ paa
Pacha ya frame la misi ya la misi. Oh, say dia mampanyina aka ne de edwane bekọ wa pa. No anya kan no kra ya topa. Na wanya de nanu abetum de me gidi say de edwane be kama pa mai. Because da de ya de a kama. E ma po. Yenya bi fa. Mu de sidem na bre. Se onya de nanu atum de. Ye nim say de edwane be kama. Amafo be omo no mu nim say da ye no. Almost one better at the Toby, and Timinim Sanya baby ano. Yankupon ya doma, Dawadawa de, Nija Papa. Certainly born. A be a 2 cities, a be a 50 pesos, a be a 1 city. So when you say the enemy and son, Baku 50 pesos, until Omobano umbe 2 near so the amount will noom 2 cities, no more some of their coffee, no more 50 pesos. Aha. And I'm Kuron so san, yano. And you walk a sea on a mediasa. Oh, there were bet me the annoy more jollof. Bet me the aye cooker. Bet me the aye ayoyo. Bet me the aye if anything. Shure and quine. Aha, and in quine beers and with me the aye. Na a man I come up. And my pomodin pa. There was what me you saw no one in Sasawana. Ah, Udi I come up by my home.
Nana, Asensu Mensa, reporting.
All right, so the time now for sports, and Gary Al Smith is in the studio. Gary, so you heard Kuntumire and Dawadawa just got presidential endorsement.
I kid you not. This morning and last night, I was putting on my Facebook that as for this week, everything we are doing with Kuntumire and Dawadawa. So tomorrow morning, my tea is going with some Dawadawa. What do you say?
I agree with you.
Anyway, we would have to invite Kevin Prince Boateng to possibly some Dawadawa flavored Black Stars, because the player says that he's actually looking forward to yet another stint with the national team. This was on Friday. Just to be sure, Kevin was on top, his brother Jerome was down. They were having an Instagram live conversation. It spawned a lot of reaction, and on Saturday, Eli Kingston, former Black Star, was in our studios, and of course, Nathaniel Ato.
Oh yeah, it's still a Ghanaian, and you know, I heard, I watched one of his interviews. He still have so much respect for the country, even though things happened when he was playing for the national team and all that. A lot of people, most people would think, oh, he have no respect for Ghana and all that, but he's still a Ghanaian, and listening to him, for me, I think he has so much. You know, he believed that Ghana had given him a lot of opportunities, bigger platforms and all that. Ghana helped him to enjoy, to smell the World Cup, which every player, which he believed in his interview, he said that with him he realized that there is no way he can play for the German national team. So he made a very good decision in playing for Ghana. So for him, I think if the coach still believed that he still have something to help him, and he's playing very well in his team, he's still a Ghanaian. The national team is for every Ghanaian that is performing well. But one thing I want to know, I want to see players in the national team, players that are performing well in their clubs, players that are doing well week in, week out in their players to be.
So Kevin wants to come back. Eli Kingston says if the coach wants him, we should get him back. What does the coach himself say? Benedict also spoke to the Black Stars coach about this matter yesterday.
As coach of the team, you know what? if Prince Boateng is available,
why not? Why not? He's played before.
Yeah.
He's done well. There were some issues. I think we can also deny that, you know. But if he's doing well and actively playing and he's strong, very experienced player, why not? Why not? But whatever it is, I mean, I really need to talk to the FA about it. But he'll be welcome once he's
because he was suspended indefinitely and he's still not cleared that yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's some issues which I probably cannot discuss it with you. You know, and then but if he's interested, you know, the other day when during the press conference, I had a chat with him. You know, and the story was different. And
later he came back
to say that.
And he actually wished you well, and he said you are the best man for the job.
I know that boy. I know that kid. When I was playing in Germany, I think he was then coming up.
Oh, okay.
From Berlin.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I know him very well, and he's a very tough boy. Very, very tough.
Just
boy.
like you when you.
Yeah. So why not?
So they have had their say. What do you say? In the second half of the sports, we'll go through some of your comments as to whether you want Kevin back or not. I'm Gary Al Smith. Thank you for those watching on Joy Prime for joining us. See you on the other side.
Time now for showbiz. Becky is here. She's already got to be laughing. Becky, hello. I'm sure you ate some kontomire and dawa dawa today.
I had kontomire, I had mushroom today, and I had dawa dawa.
Oh my God, you're a law-abiding citizen.
You know, right? But Aisha, today we are remembering, the world is remembering Bob Marley, legendary Bob Marley.
39 years.
Yeah. What's your favorite song of Bob Marley?
I actually don't know the Lucky Dube, Bob Marley. I just know reggae, so I just mix all of them up.
Well, easy.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite Bob Marley song? I came to tell you about something, a comment he made about Nigerians, you know, coming into Ghana and blowing up, and the Nigerians didn't take it lightly. So today he's been explaining. He says that
it was taken out of proportion.
Context, yeah.
Okay.
So then that tells you what I was talking about, that the blessing that, you know, because I believe so. It was never in any way negative, as in, you know, something like, no, it was not even insulting.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
Okay.
And we spoke about if they had to put up a show, and me and him even spoke to understand where there is going to be an event held in Nigeria, like Ghana, Nigeria, who said in Nigeria, because we're even discussing ways that we can continue to even invite Ghanaians to Lagos or Abuja or the whole of Nigeria to get us more prominent into their spaces as well, because they love our music. So that was what the conversation, not even
so it was taken out of context.
It was just picked up like
because you're saying there's I recall Pato Ranking,
exactly,
you know, saying that he grew up. You guys did stuff, in Ghana.
You know, I mean, that was the point of conversation. And who doesn't love to come to Ghana? I mean, especially, you know, they have a number of artists who have had to pass here, you know what I mean? And I also made the statement that they're pointing at, and I admit is that I'm yet to see a Ghanaian artist who may have gone and blown in Nigeria before they be like, oh, that's a Ghanaian, and then they come to Ghana, and then they be like, oh yeah, he blew up from there. But you would have a number of Nigerian artists who have actually had their biggest, you know, even if it is 2 or 3 of them.
I agree.
They have had to, you know, get that love from here to move, you know what I mean? So we are yet to experience that side of the love in Nigeria.
Boy, everybody. So, Stonebwoy, remember the nominee song featuring Kerry Hilson?
Yes.
Oh, it's actually a price tag to it. We're supposed to do a challenge. Let Stonebwoy explain what the challenge is about. When we come back, we will have our own challenge here. We are winning that.
We are with Nominate now. So in a few weeks' time, we're going to move aside from Nominate and then spearhead the next jam.
Okay.
Focus on that one, move that aside, spearhead the next one. So it's not like we have just dropped the album into the system and left it and then focus on one song only. There's a plan.
Okay.
And I'm really grateful to the masses for working alongside by side with us, you know, to get the plan. Nominate is 1 million views already. It clocked million under 2 weeks, literally, or you know.
And there's a challenge that, and we're winning how much again?
Yeah, the challenge has like a $1,000. It's not 100,000. It's 1,000 USD, which is equivalent to almost a 5,000 or more CDs on top of the winner with the most creative. So the thing is that you have to get very creative.
Okay.
You have to get really creative. As in, that
that nominate song is a song that is speaking to, you know, if you are the nominate, okay. So it means that we will do something creative around that, and then
we get the chance to win.
We get the chance to win. So there's a criteria, and which is internal. Okay. So until people meet that mark, you know what I mean, it's not easy to come by a G. So you have to go really hard, go creative. You don't even know, you might win. So get out there. You know we don't talk and don't do. Me and the whole team were poised. So okay. Let's kick it, let's go. Let's see how it's going to come out.
I am definitely looking forward to that challenge. I think that a lot of people will join in. Myself, I will try and join in.
Even I will join in.
Oh, you will win the thing again? No. You ready for the nominate challenge?
Which nominate? Am I supposed to sing Bob Marley's song or something?
Singing along.
Well, we'll do that tomorrow on Joy News Prime. So
it turns out we don't have time. Yeah.
Yeah, watch
so
out
let's
for
do
that
tomorrow.
challenge. That'll be it for Showbiz. Welcome back to the rest of our stories. And former Finance Minister Setekpe says government's 600 million stimulus package should be objectively distributed and in a regionally balanced fashion. The intervention, which was announced a couple of weeks ago, is yet to be disbursed, as government says it is still mapping out distribution criteria. The former minister, who also provides his perspective on the criteria, says businesses in healthcare, agriculture and energy must be topmost priority. He's been speaking to my colleague Gifty Andapia on the polls.
We would want to know who are the beneficiaries, their records, so you set up a criteria, right? What is your filing, you know, of say tax returns, because you get a lot from the tax returns. So from a tax return or from Registrar General filing, we are able to determine that, you know, you made so much sales, you made so much expenses, your profit is so much, you are a viable entity, you are not making losses, right? So if you are categorizing businesses, then you would look at businesses that are healthy in themselves, that are having problems. There's then the mid-range, and then there are those. Some of them may not be making, you know, profit at this time, but they were profitable. Some of them may be shut down, but they are profitable. So you look at one past performance, and then you look at potential. And because the resources cannot go around to everybody, there must be some objective criteria for selection. Okay. And so you must have some of the things I'm talking about as a criteria. You must have also a good spread. You know, because remember, Accra is not the center of the. Accra is a central, you know, nexus, from like Kumasi, Sekondi, Takoradi. But there are people who are also doing business in Sunyani, people who are doing. So it's not an easy task, you know, to be. Okay. But then you have to be seen to be objective. Help the health sector. So because you want to stop a disease, you don't want too many people. Yeah. So those who are producing PPEs, those who are, you know, have laboratories that can be roped in, you know, to they need one or two equipments, you know, which may be needed for them to expand the testing and others. So the health sector will definitely be, you know, one of the top priorities. And then you may want to, you know, look at stabilizing, you know, from energy to others. We are now in the rainy season, and we want to stabilize food production. So you may want to begin to also prioritize agric and agric processing, you know, so that you don't have a food situation on your hand, in addition to having a health situation.
Recently, fact-checking platform CheckGhana.com reported discrepancies in GDP and other economic data presented by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to Parliament. Now, government says additional figures were in the footnotes, but Mr. Tekpe says that was wrong and unfair basis for comparison.
If you tell the nation that the normal income is 100, now we are talking about the nation, I'm using the same figures. The normal expenditure is 110, and therefore the difference is 10. And then you put the additional 10 for bailout and for energy costs in a footnote, right? It is still money with Ghanaians, still expenditure with Ghanaians are going to finance. So don't tell me that the difference, right, is 10%. Remember, 10 difference over 100 is 10%. Okay. If you have borrowed 10 more, you have to add it, and your difference goes up by an additional 10. Otherwise, if you want to compare your performance, right, to that of President Mahama or to that of President Kufuor or Rawlings, or at a Mills, then take out my single spine. Because I have included the single spine in my expenditure in calculating my deficit. Okay. And you are taking out your additional cost, which is the bank bailout cost. You are taking it out and say that you are performing better than me. You put it in a footnote. And remember, it takes a technical person like myself. When you were reading the budget and you say that my expenditure is 120, it's not everybody who has a technical, mindset. Even if you went to school, you may have read arts, you may have read, so reading a balance sheet is something different. So we are saying, in the interest of all Ghanaians who need to understand, tell us that I have 100, my expenditure of 110 has increased to 120, right? And even if I'm putting it in a footnote, tell me that you are putting it in a footnote.
Now, from a humble beginning as the son of a Pito seller who defied the odds of being tied down by poverty, he has now excelled in the legal profession and on the verge of becoming a justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Lawyer Yoni Kulendi, Executive Secretary of Kulendi Art Law, hails from Isa, one of Ghana's poorest communities where educational facilities were limited. He was nominated by President Akufo-Addo a couple of months ago with 3 others as justices of the Supreme Court subject to parliamentary vetting and approval. Ahead of its vetting on Tuesday, Joy News Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam takes a closer look at the life of the renowned lawyer, Yoni Kulendi.
To those who know him well, he is Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi, born 56 years ago to a Second World War veteran, RSM Tembela Maluri Kulendi and Kanchoma Tembela. He is the 4th of 7 children of Kanchoma who used to brew local pito for sale at one of Ghana's slums, Wazongo. A chick that will grow into a rooster can be spotted every day it hatches. Yoni Kulendi exhibited those qualities. His senior brother, now a businessman, Joseph Tembela Dakora, is therefore not surprised about his meteoric rise in the legal profession.
I saw him, he came out as a bright individual in the family, and he has been with those futures from the start. At his early days, he was very much involved in Christianity, which took him to the...
Yoni himself has never hidden his ambition and love for the legal profession right from his lower primary days at Ndamba School.
If you met anybody who taught me, any of my teachers, and you asked them about me, even in primary 2, I used to say I'll become a lawyer. But my resolve to become a lawyer was fired when I went through the tragedy of my life. And anybody who knows me and has followed my work as a lawyer will appreciate that it's a work I do with total commitment. I don't kid or mess around it.
He, however, had a blip in his educational career at Ward Secondary School when he was in his 5th year, which made him to spend almost 2 years at the war prisons as a remand prisoner. Matthew Bambason was a teacher at the school.
He was among one of 10 of my brilliant students. Very bright. He was very super, very gentle. I know too well that if he was allowed, I thought he could have been a doctor. So I was surprised when he became a lawyer.
Isa, Yoni's home village is 56 kilometers away from the regional capital. The Upper West region is considered as one of Ghana's poorest regions. Narrowing it to Isa, it is worse. Poverty is more endemic, coupled with limited educational opportunities. And this is the last place anyone who expects could produce a Supreme Court judge. It is stories like that of Yoni that inspires people like Ibrahim Seydi Bamanjo. He too, a native of Goropie, which is located 22 kilometers away from Wa, wants to be a practicing lawyer one day.
The only thing we need in life is efforts and the stamina to move ahead in spite of everything. So I think that what he has done has been a great source of inspiration for all of us. Whether you are in town, you are in village, you are wherever you find yourself in the Upper West region.
Like the fowl that does not forget who trim his feathers during the rainy season, Yoni, despite his stature in society, hasn't turned his back on his native Isa, says District Chief Executive for the Fima Bure Isa, Nadi Moro Sanda.
Lawyer asked me, he said, when you go to hospital, where is the first point of call? And I said, an OPD. He asked whether we have an OPD. I said, no, we don't have an OPD, but we have a proposal. There's some design drawings for an OPD. That once we don't have an OPD, he was going to help us with an OPD. Then he engaged consultants, they expanded the drawings, and then the cost went up. As I talk to you, the cost is now running above 300,000 Ghana cedis.
The people of the Upper West region will be glued to their television sets to watch their own unit grilled by members of Ghana's parliament. They will wait with bated breath for its approval and subsequent swearing in by the president. When that is done, the father of four will be on record as the first person in the 37-year history of the Upper West region to sit as a justice at the apex court of the land. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow. The Supreme Court Judge nominee Yoni Kolende will be appearing before Parliament's Appointments Committee tomorrow. That's Tuesday. The embattled husband whose wife connived with her lover to murder him says he has long forgiven his wife. 55-year-old Kujo Gato, beyond the forgiveness, is also pleading for leniency for the wife with whom he has 4 kids. Mavis Brepo, also known as Ohima, aged 27, and a 51-year-old boyfriend, Patrick Asari, were arrested by police at the Meisha Divisional Command for attempted murder. The two were remanded into police custody when they first appeared before the Asukwa magistrate. My colleague Ohim Interior has more.
The Gatos have lived happily since 2007 until suspect Isaac Asari was led to them by some residents in search of accommodation. Mr. Gato granted the request and offered the stranger shelter in his house for free. That perhaps marked the beginning of a difficult times to come for the family.
After me who say why me and from Subia, Mamma Munyami, ne or say on in the back say be pedan. Nam so me and fine. Tis all fools or better 2 weeks, 3 weeks, been on the copeda in there. Met madam, fine, on also catch them say I want to pay. And I made a man and no, now met it and then been made me some permanent money free.
On Mr. Gato's blind side, Asari, a former Division 3 football coach, began an amorous relationship with his wife. The tenant allegedly hatched a plan to eliminate Mr. Gato, first through food poisoning, with Mavis as the executioner. After the plot failed, a neighbor later hinted Mr. Gato of a suspected relationship between his wife and Asari, for which his host evicted him.
Ubi ketirem say Asari na otumi hu say adwano eko ben no ono no nten ono bench so me frɛ me adwo ketirem say mate say yesi woni Asari no etra ben bench so obawade for de yenye sa ono so ketirem say da bi enye no kure ana me so me de me twa so because me nti om say e bia o ma yede ofri ne ho de mapi entenu mu na me so me de ketirem say Asari no onye de ofri me fia hanko.
Police from Meisha Division in Kumasi subsequently traveled to Achimpami to arrest Mavis after Asari had been picked up in Kumasi a day earlier. Reports suggest Asari had confided in a friend in Western North region to arrange a buyer of Mr. Gato. He was, however, arrested in Kumasi on his way to collect money from CID personnel who feigned interest in a clandestine transaction. Now, a traumatized Mr. Gato says he believes his wife had been influenced by a spiritual force against him and he wants her freed.
Oh, man, bro, so on for I don't know, Mamma Mini. But also, you're not being say, as I didn't want to mean say, me, did. And then said, now didn't in first panel, will be seen a to me more money or send it as a nano ati. I was asking by when I buy it. Now, no more do action. I'm saying, yes, and to me who say, akola we nyen to me no dey I don't know but soon be na working sanka wanye sa mere sa aduro no anka mere de assembly no ka won to me so enye sa no enti me de obema ne de on de won koji ba mere de boni bia wa mbia me de menene eni twaka bia me de man ne boni ache no.
Relatives say Mavis's arrest and absence are taking a toll on the family. Here is a 50-year-old mother Mercy Ayisi.
Me bana te bi owo mu de. Me dumi wo se yon na adwene. Me bana bibia wo to me ka kire mba be ka kire m. Ama yetumi abibi kura yetumi siesie. So oba na makura na ona ne be kun a. Oba ma ne se on de opena de a. Te me bana de yan na adwene. Nti me srem. Mo fa mu am na me na ma no wo sha. Wo ni me kura mpo so kam. Ma se ma ye mobo.
From Achempami in the Atiwa West District for Joy News, Ohimi Interior reporting.
Hello again, and let's do more business news. The Electricity Company of Ghana says it is investing nearly 45 million Ghana cedis in short to long-term projects to address intermittent power outages in the Ashanti region. Managing Director Kwame Agyemang-Budu says the company is in the process of replacing all insulators in the region to deal with the problem. Prince Appiah's reports.
The Ashanti Strategic Business Unit also identified 14 frequent feeders in 14 areas causing the outages. Director at the unit, Engineer David Buedia-Samoa, reviewed the duration for these trippings ranges from 4 to 37 hours. The outages presentation he made covers 4 weeks from 5th April to 2nd May this year.
We come to realize that there are some old transformers that need to be changed. Cables, relays, reclosures, sectionalizers, and all other things. To mitigate this, we try as much as possible to replace most of them. Especially the jumper card is something that is frequently hurting us. And our field guys normally, just to restore quick service to our customers, they, instead of using connectors, they use winding, the same way to wind it to get light for our customers. We've also come to realize that some of us trying to steal power from us make our transformers overloaded.
Meanwhile, the Managing Director Kwame Agyemang-Budu has been explaining that the ECG is investing some 15 million Ghana cedis in the short term and a little close to 30 million Ghana cedis in the medium term.
We are trying to construct a primary substation at the Agogo area, which will link Konongo, Agogo, and Jiso together, so that we have a stable, service. We are spending about 15 million Ghana cedis to reinforce the system or our network. We are also trying to, in the medium term, we try to pump in 29.5 million cedis, and we plan to install, construct at Adanse Asokwa area, which will link Kumasi, Obuasi, near Dubiase, so that we can have a stable network or service.
Away from power, the aviation industry may not be the same as the coronavirus is biting very hard. Despite uncertainties, experts are warning of dramatic decline in air transport traffic and investment. Although some countries are planning a reopen, how will this look like for airline operators and passengers alike? That is a question I asked aviation expert and medical director of CareFlight Ghana, Dr. Yakubu Aparibu.
The Ashanti Strategic Business Unit also identified 14 frequent feeders in 14 areas causing the outages. Director at the unit, Engineer David Buedia-Samoa, reviewed the duration for these trippings ranges from 4 to 37 hours.
So nose masks are going to add extra weight to flights. That's certainly some not good news, and the world will certainly not be a good place after COVID-19. Crude oil is still in its dark days, selling today at $29.96 a barrel. It made a minus $0.99 loss. More in the commodity news.
With CK, for me, I played under him, and also I worked with him for one game in Temale when the the naming of
the renaming of the stadium to Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium.
I was his assistant that took the southern sector national team players. I work with him. So with him, it's someone that looking at him, if worked under Right to Dream as well. So right to Dream, for me, I think Right to Dream developed him a little bit. Now, when I started working with Right to, that's when I realized where he's got, because before I was coaching, my durations in training and everything is a little bit high. But he told me, I remember that day, he told me that, okay, he told me durations, he told me my durations is too
limited or short?
No, too long.
Too long, okay.
Too long, you should do it very short. He was the one, and when I went to Right to Dream 2, that's when one of the key things I came to my mind that, oh, CK have told me already. And also the way his relationship with players is amazing. So for me, I think he have what it takes to, and you can see, Asofok was very short, but when you can see when he went to Kotoko, he was doing very, very, very well with Kotoko before he had his problems with them. So for me, I think it's a very good choice. He's played as a player before. He's played in the national team as well. He's captained the national team, so he will understand very well the players very well. In his position now, he's a coach. You understand the players very, very well because he's been in their shoes before. So you know at a certain point, you will know how the players are feeling, and you will know the right things that the players will need and the country need. So with me, I will be very happy to see Ghana giving him a longer term. He have a 2 years contract with the national team. At least he is building a team. We should have patience with our coaches. Give them time.
Thank you for your time. We promised to give you comments on Kevin Prince Boateng, but let's do that tomorrow and more. I'm Gary Al Smith, and this is The Sport.